Good morning, everybody. It is your daily dose number 2. So I'm going to give you all a second to hop on with me. And as you're hopping on, I want to know, what are you sick and tired of? What are you sick and tired of? Because this is all about the live challenge, right? I think that we've all got to a place in our lives where we are just freaking sick and tired of being sick and tired. But what is that you are sick and tired of? Because we are going to be using it in your power statements today. So it's so awesome to have you guys hopping on with me. Yay! I love it, I love it, I love it. So ladies, I am Coach Jessica. I am the VP of Coaching and Customer Experience here at LadyBoss. And I am so excited to be with you today to share just a little bit of myself, to share a little bit more about your power statement, and just like dive in just a little bit deeper. More to come, right? So ladies, as we're getting started, I want to lay out just a couple of ground rules because I think it's going to help you throughout this entire live challenge. So number 1, like engage. So I love that you are engaging with me and like putting your comments in. Like I see, like I'm not feeling comfortable in my clothes. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of my clothes not fitting. I love the engagement because the more that you can engage, the more you're going to get out of this journey. Also, like check the Facebook group because there's going to be so much stuff going on over the next 28 days. You do not want to miss a thing. Because our coaches are coast to coast, like to be 8 a.m. Mountain Time for my Pacific Coast coaches, like that's early. So just know, like check the Facebook group so that you can see exactly when the daily dose is. Do your best to hop on with us live because again, the more that you can interact with us, the better off you're going to be. We'll be able to answer some of your questions and hopefully give you the guidance that you need. And ground rule number 2, always read the caption up above because it is going to tell you what you need to do today, and always put your comments in the video down below. So if I'm asking you like, hey, drop this in, put it in the comments below because that way when myself or the other coaches go back, we can actually see where you're at. Now, the reason why I say read the daily dose caption up above is because it is going to tell you what you need to do today. So we have a lot of ladies who've done the live challenge multiple times and you're wanting to compound principles. I love it. Go for it. Do it. But if this is your first time in the live challenge, all I want you to focus on is the one thing that we are asking you to do today, okay? So that's it. Also, no watch parties. I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but if it is, cut it out. It actually stops this video. I'm trying to think what else. If it comes to me, I will tell you. But guys, I just finished my workout and I'm sweating. So if you see me wiping my head, it's not because you're making me nervous. It's just because I'm hot. I'm sweating like bananas. So like I said, I'm Coach Jessica. And as I was reading through all of your comments, like as your introductions yesterday, I gotta say, I was absolutely blown away by who you are. Yes, by who you are, by the challenges that you have faced, and why you are here in the 28-day live challenge. And if it's all right with you, I'd like to share just a little bit about myself and how I got to this place, because I will tell you that, you know what, I've been through challenges too. I go through challenges to this day. It's just a little bit of a mindset switch of how I overcome it. And I want to share just a little bit of that with you. So if that's okay, please, if I can share just a little bit with you. So like I said, I've not always been a coach, although I did start coaching at the ripe age of 12. Yeah, believe it or not, I started coaching when I was 12. I am from Canada. So if you hear my accent, that's why. I grew up in Southern Alberta, Canada. And yes, I was a figure skater. I know, totally cliche, but yes, I was a figure skater. I'm actually the oldest of 6 kids, and all of my sisters and all of my brothers either were figure skaters or hockey players. That's just kind of how I grew up. My mom is also a personal trainer and group fitness instructor, and she looks freaking bomb. Like, if I can look like my mom when I grow up, I will be happy. She's 63, and she's like 115 pounds, 5'2", solid muscle, like straight solid muscle. Like the woman is a beast. So and my dad, same thing. I'm built a little bit more like my dad, a little bit stockier. I build muscle super fast. But that's just kind of like how I grew up, super, super active family. And yes, I started coaching figure skating when I was 12 because I started coaching all the little kids. And then through high school, I actually started coaching hockey because I knew that the hockey players did not know how to skate well. And if I could teach them how to skate, their game would up it. But I will tell you, that's not without a lot of challenges. So even though, yes, I coached figure skating and hockey, I didn't necessarily coach in the way that I coach now. Like I said, I was always super, super active as a kid, and in high school and stuff like that. I actually coached the football team in high school and a little bit in college. I did some of their training for them. So yeah, it's just kind of who I was. But I will tell you that I lost myself. So after high school, moved to the United States, met my husband, who is the love of my life. He is super active. Like, you give the guy a sport and he just like does it magically. Like, it's amazing. And that's when, even though I always skied, that's when I really took up skiing a whole lot more. I actually competed mogul skiing. So like, this is just who I was, right? Like, just this active person. I don't know, did any of you guys play sports or, was just really active? I'm not sure if you were, but that's who I was. Well, we had our first baby. Everything was amazing. And then I got pregnant with my second baby, and things weren't quite so amazing. We had moved to Colorado, which is really far away from Southern Alberta, really far away from his family too, and we were kind of on our own. And my second baby, who was a little girl, was born 2 months premature. In fact, I wear this ring. This is actually my husband's wedding ring. Because when we got married, he was like maybe 150 pounds, like sopping wet. He's much bigger now. Thankfully, he's got a lot of muscle on him, but this ring doesn't fit. But I wear it for a reason. This ring would actually fit around my daughter's wrist when she was born. And it has reminded me over and over and over again that I matter. I'll tell you why in a minute. But it was really tough. Not only that, but my husband traveled for work. So he was gone anywhere from 2 to 5 days a week. And I was at home with a 16-month-old and a 3-pound baby. And on top of that, when I had my daughter, I got what was called the HELP syndrome. So I'm sure you've heard of toxemia or preeclampsia. I got the worst kind of it. So what happened is my liver shut down, my kidneys shut down, my blood wouldn't clot, so I hemorrhaged. My blood pressure was sky high. I was in a world of hurt. And it took a long time for my body to get better. Probably, I don't know, a couple of years. But it was one of those things where, like, going from being an athlete to not being able to walk up the stairs in my house without having to sit down was so hard. Not being able to shower by myself was so hard because of the blood that I'd lost. If I put my hands up above my head, I would actually pass out. And that's not good when you've got 2 little babies and you pass out in the shower. So I would have to wait till my husband got home for him to help shower me and help me bathe. And that was humiliating. I'm sure that you've probably felt like this, but it's like you take your shirt off and you look down and your stomach is stretched out, after, having a couple of babies, stretch marks galore, your boobs are full of milk, they're hanging. And then as soon as like the water from the shower hits your back, they kind of perk up and like milk hits the back of the shower. And you're like, you just feel like a mess. And here's your husband having to help you. And going from an athlete to that, it was absolutely humiliating. It was really, really tough on me because I've always been super, super independent, and having to rely on somebody else to take care of me was so hard. So not only was that hard, but also I have this 3-pound preemie baby who needed a lot of attention, and a 16-month-old running around the house too. It was probably the most difficult time in my life. And I'll never forget, my daughter was about 6-7 months old. And I will tell you that shaken baby syndrome was almost me. because of just the way that everything happened, I did get postpartum depression, and I didn't even know it. And I didn't really have other people around me to be able to help me or even recognize it. So one night in particular, my baby had woken up, and I went into her room and I pick her up and I'm like, can you please just stop? And my husband happened to hear me, because I don't know if I must have been making a whole lot of ruckus. And he came in and he picked up our little baby and set her on the middle of the floor, and he just held me. And I just started bawling, and he says, Jess, we need help. You need help. And I just fell into a slump on the floor. And that's when I knew that I needed help. I knew that the person that I had become was not who I wanted to be. I would walk past any mirror in my house, or if I was out, like I'd look at the reflection in a window and I'm like, oh my gosh, who is that? Like, I don't know who that is. I'd lost everything that was vibrant about me. I didn't know what I'd become, and I wanted me back. And that's where I think that some of you might be right now. You might be feeling the same thing, that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're sick and tired of not being able to take care of yourself because you're putting so much energy into everybody else. You may be so sick and tired of not being able to enjoy the things that you used to. I'm sure some of you through this quarantine that you're sick and tired of being at home and not having people around you. I'm sure that you're sick and tired of not feeling hope, of feeling like that there's nothing left out there. And I'm here to tell you that there is hope, and there's more than hope. And I want you to really focus on this 28 days and put the time into you, because that is the beginning of it. So the reason why I wear this ring on my hand is because it reminds me that I matter. Every single time I look down at my hand, it reminds me of where I was at, but also how far I have come, and that I matter, and that self-care is crucial for me. And what you're doing in this 28 days is self-care. So once I had this realization that I needed help, guess who I called? My mom. Now, some of you probably have an amazing relationship with your mom. I will say that that wasn't necessarily me. My mom and I, we always kind of battled a little bit. We always kind of, one of those. Part of it was jealousy on both of our sides. Here I looked at my mom, and here she is, 150 pounds, solid muscle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be like her. But yet my mom would also look at me, and she's like, oh my gosh, look at Jessica. She's doing all of these amazing things. Like she's moving on with her life. She's accomplishing things. And man, I really wish I could be like her. And so it was kind of this constant battle. But luckily, she's my mom. And she's like, just bring the kids home. So I took my two little kids back up to Alberta, and my mom says, you're coming to the gym with me. Me? Go to the gym? Not a fat chance in hell. I was a figure skater. I was a skier. That's how I got my exercise. And I was not about to put on a pair of like spandex leggings and a tight top and go to a gym with my mom, 115 pounds, solid muscle, standing next to me. She was the 1 and I was the 0 standing next to her. And that's how I felt. But luckily for me, my mom did not take me to a fitness class. There was a seminar that was going on at the gym, and that's what I got to go to. And the name of the seminar was, What Do You Want and How Bad Do You Want It? Let that one sink in a minute. What do you want and how bad do you want it? And I will tell you that sitting in that room, the tables were a U shape. I was sitting over here in the corner. I had my little notebook because I'm a very studious little student. And as the instructors were talking about, what do you want? I knew what I wanted. I wanted me back. I wanted Jessica back. I wanted to be the wife that I was before. I wanted to be the mom. And do you know what I was doodling? I was not writing words. I was doodling. I was doodling mountains. Because also for me, I knew that I wanted to stand on the peak of every single mountain with my husband and with my kids. Because to me, there is something sacred about mountains. And standing on the peak, man, there is nothing like it. Whether it was a chairlift at the ski area that got me there, or whether it was hiking, or whatever it may be, that was who I was. And that's what I wanted. So I want to ask you, what do you want? What do you want? And that's part of your power statement. I will tell you that I wanted it bad. And so I knew that I had to get to work. And I knew that I had to put the time into me. I knew that I was putting so much time into my kids and my husband and everything else that I'd forgotten about me. I'd forgotten about me. And so when I went home, I joined a gym because guess what? My mom said you probably need to exercise. It's going to help you. So I found a gym, and I live in a small town. And so the only gym that had a daycare, there was two of them. And the one that did, it was like an 8x8 square foot room with no windows. And my kids hated it, straight up hated it. So every time I would go, I'd put them in the room, they'd start crying. And I was like, if I am going to subject my kids to this, I had better put in the effort and I had better put in the work. And I will tell you that I worked hard. I also knew that I needed to make some changes with my nutrition because Hamburger Helper, totally a real thing. It was so easy. All you had to do is brown a pound of ground beef, throw the other stuff in, and voila, a meal that my kids would eat. And so I will tell you that I did not stop eating Hamburger Helper. All I did is I started adding vegetables to it. And then I started, this other process, right? But I will tell you that as I started making my body stronger, and as I went through that process, and as I knew what did I want and how bad I wanted it, I wanted to stand on the peak of every mountain. I knew that I had to put the work in, and that's what I did. And so I want to ask you, what do you want? Like, what are you sick and tired of? Because those are all things for your power statement. What is your mountain? So lady, if you have not written your power statement, I want you to stop this video. And I want you to go back and I want you to write your power statement. And if you have written your power statement, I want you to drop it in the comments below because I want to use your power statement as we as I finish this daily dose. So I'm going to apologize off the bat. This one is going to be a little bit longer. But it's so important, and that's why you are so much smarter than me. Because you are starting with your power statement. For me, I started with fitness. And yes, I knew, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. A bald eagle literally just like swooped right in front of my window. That is crazy, sorry. Wow, that was a big bird. Sorry, it scared me. Yes, I knew that, what I wanted, but I didn't put the effort into all the parts of my power statement. And that's why you're smarter than me, because you are truly, truly starting with what's up here, because that's what really matters. This is what's going to drive everything else down here, okay? So as you're writing that power statement, it is so important that you put the work in. So if you, again, please, please, please drop your power statement below because I want to use your words. So in the very beginning, it's like, I became a lady boss because I want to. And I'm sure some of you put on there, I want to lose 25 pounds. I need to lose 100 pounds because I want to have a baby. I saw so many of the reasons why you're there, but that's what you need to put in there. But I want you to dig just a little bit deeper. Guys, I've been doing this long enough. I've been coaching for 20 years. Yes, 20 years. And no, not when I started when I was 12. It was actually after I went through my own physical transformation, because I'd put on 25 pounds. So I lost that 25 pounds, but I rebuilt it in muscle, and I completely changed my body shape and my body composition. And it was after that I did that, and after I went through this emotional journey, that I knew that I had the ability to help other women do the same. So I started coaching when I was 23, 24, something like 24. I was 24. See, 20 years later. So yes, not when I was 12, but in my 20s is when I really truly started coaching this way, because I knew I had the ability to help you. And that's why I'm here. So like I said, I've been doing this long enough to know that you're probably just putting one-word answers into your power statement. And I want you to stop. Stop. If you have put one-word answers or just like a short little phrase, I want you to stop. And I want you to go back to your power statement, because this truly, truly is where it starts. Now, when I went through my journey, I didn't have the words to write it down. I didn't even think to start that way. But I'm coaching you to start that way, to dig deep. And I want more. I want, like, what is it about losing 100 pounds? What would it mean if you were able to have a baby? What would it mean if you were able to get over the depression that you felt through quarantine? What would it be, right? What would it be? What would it mean to you? And that is truly, truly what your power statement is about. So if it's all right, I want to tell you another quick story, because I think this is going to help you as you write your power statement. So a couple of years ago, my husband said, "Hey, Jess, let's go get scuba diving certified." Again, it was kind of like the same response. Like when my mom said, "Let's go to the gym," I was like, "Me, scuba dive? This mountain girl in the ocean?" A little scary. But I was totally up for the challenge. I'm like, I'm going to do it. So if any of you are scuba divers, like, I love it now, but it took me a little bit, because it's a little bit scary, right? It's kind of like this unknown world down there, and a whole lot of equipment that you really don't know about. So when I went scuba diving for the first time, I'd actually had a little bit of a cold. So never, ever, 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 please don't go scuba diving if you had a little bit of a cold, because you have these air passages in your sinuses and in your ears. And as you're starting to go down, you have to clear those passages. And if you're jumped up with like mucus and stuff, yeah, it doesn't clear, and it hurts bad. And you can actually do some major damage. You can actually blow your eardrums. So here I am going down in the ocean. I've got the big old regulator in my mouth that's hooked up to the tanks on the back. And I'm like all strapped in, and you know, I've gone through all the classes and everything. And I'm like, oh man, this is hard. This is really hard. And I'm going down. And as I'm going down, oh my gosh, the pressure in my ears and in my sinuses, it hurt so bad. And I think that's probably where you're at right now with your power statement. It's like you're starting to go down into this unknown world, and it's causing some emotional pain. Emotional pain, right? Just like my sinuses and like my ears. But I will tell you this, as I was able to clear that, the pain was able to go away, and a whole new world was opened up to me. And it is magical. Being in the ocean and getting to swim with all the schools of fish like swarming around you, seeing the great big huge stingrays as they're bedding down in the sand, seeing sharks, yes, they're so amazing, seeing eels, it's this magical place. But if I had not gone down and learned to clear that pain, that the emotional pain or the physical pain, I would have never got there. And that's why you have to go deep into your power statement. And yes, it is going to pull up some emotional pain, but you have to go through it to open up the whole new world that you are wanting so bad. You have to go there. You have to go there. So also in part of your power statement, it says, and I'm going to read it, and thank you so much, Lacey and Holly, for dropping your power statements in. I know it won't happen overnight, but I will trust the process. I will pick myself up even when blank. What are those even wins? What are those things that are going to pull you back? I will tell you that when you're scuba diving and you're going through the certifications, you actually have to go there. They will actually, you're down in the water and they will take that regulator and pull it out of your mouth. And you have to figure out how to retrieve it and put it back in your mouth and clear the air out of your hose. They will also take your mask that's covering your eyes and your nose, and you have to take it off and let it float. And then you have to retrieve it, put it back on, and clear all of the water that's in your mask. You have to go there. You have to know the things that are going to come after you. They train you that, you know what, when you're swimming and you're in these caves, that moray eels are probably going to be there, and don't put your hands in them. Shine the light, make sure that you're safe. You have to know those things that are going to come after you. And when you actually put the time and effort into saying, these are the things that are going to hold me back, these are the things that are going to pull me away, it's like putting this armor around you that says, sister, you are not going to get me today. I don't care what darts you are going to throw at me. I don't care that I'm going to be traveling the same roads that I always do to take my kids to school or go to work, with that Starbucks that has all of the latte, frappuccino, mocha, whatever, with all the whipped cream and syrups and all, that you're not going to stop there. You have to know the things that are going to hold you back. Because if you don't write it down, guess what? They're going to come and bite you. Write it down. Please, I want you to go scuba diving with me. So I will tell you, I love snorkeling. I really do. And I used to love it more than I do now, because now I can go under the water. But the reason why I loved snorkeling is because it was like I could just put my face in. Like, imagine you got the mask in, you're just putting your face in, you're swimming around, you're like, oh, I can see all the cool things down there. But the second that you get uncomfortable, what do? You just pop your head up. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I got air. And I think that's where some of you are with your power statement. It's like you're snorkeling. You're just barely dipping your face in. And lady, I want you to go scuba diving. I want you to go all the way in. I want you to go deep. So, as you are writing your power statement, I want you to check the comments in this thread. And I want you to read through them. And I want you to, if somebody else, one of your sisters, is snorkeling, I want you to call them out and say, hey, sister, let's go scuba diving. Or if they've gone scuba diving in their power statement, I want you to give them like a high five. Woo! Bam! Like you got it. Now, for some of you who are really struggling to clear your sinuses, clear that emotional pain, I want you to borrow some of your sister's words. Borrow some of their words from their power statement. Because, lady, we are more similar than we are, than we're different. We really do go through a lot of the same things. And if you don't have the words right now, just like I didn't have the words back then, borrow them until they can become your own. So I want you to help me go through all of your sister's power statements. Give them kudos. Encourage them. Because I will tell you this. Your power statement is so important. I want you to remember, put your power statement in places that will remind you all day long why you're doing this, how bad you want it, and what you're going to do. My kids are almost all grown. My son is now married. My daughter is serving a church mission, and my youngest daughter is in high school. And before my daughter left on her church mission, we were together as a family. And one of the last things that we did before she left for 1.5 years is we said that we're going to go hiking. And so we went up on one of the mountains that's right by my house, and we climbed to the peak, and we sat there. It was a Sunday morning, and it was the most magical thing. Sorry. And as we were sitting there, my kids, we were just talking about life in general and what it means to be who we are. And all three of them said, Mom, thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for teaching us. The same thing with my husband. It was just like, you know, sometimes those moments in life that you are just never gonna forget. And I'm not crying because of all of the crap that I went through. I'm crying because I'm so proud of who my kids are. I'm so proud of the relationship that I have with my husband and what we're able to accomplish and how I'm able to help you and live my dreams of truly helping you. I am so incredibly proud. It's taken a lot and a lot of soul searching and continued soul searching. And on my phone, my screensaver will always be a picture of my kids and my husband and me on the peak of a mountain. Because every single time I see that picture, because trust me, I still have bad days, but it reminds me of why I'm here and why I'm doing this. And that's what I want for you, because there is hope. I want you to know that you are worth it. You are worth it. You are worth it. I want you to hear me when I say that. Yes, you're going to have to go through some emotional pain. You're going to have to go there. Yes, there's going to be workouts when you feel like, oh my gosh, I think my body might fall apart. There's going to be times when you're like, I don't want to eat this again. But you're going to do it because what you're reaching for is so incredibly important. Because I want you to stand on your mountain. I want you to have everything. And you can. You absolutely can. So if you are feeling like I did 20 years ago, hopeless, worthless, like a bad mom, like a bad wife, like a shell of myself, you can change that. You can change that. So please, please take your time with your power statement. Dig deep. Go scuba diving. Borrow each other's words because you are worth it. You are worth it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this daily dose. I cannot wait for you to go through the next, I guess it's now 26 days. And you're going to meet some of my other amazing, amazing coaches. You guys, these coaches are unbelievable. We hire about 1 in every 400 applications that come to us. These ladies, they not only have like certifications, but they've got bachelor's, master's, and PhDs. But the most important thing is they've been through it too. They've had their own pain too. And they are here to help you. So please make sure that you're engaging with them. Please make sure that you're showing up for them, because when you do, you're showing up for yourself. And make sure you find me. I'm on all social media. I'm LadyBoss Coach Jessica. And I will see you on Daily Dose number 10, because I will be back. Thanks, guys.